Right, guys, welcome back. This is the Above Average FPL podcast. My name's Adam, and as always, joined by Baker. Evening, mate. How you doing?
We are very well.
We are very well, mate. How was your
Very well.
Saturday? Was great, wasn't it? How confident were
How,
you? Well, we weren't
how
confident at
confident
all.
were you? Because I'm a much more anxious soul than you are in these things. I'm very jittery.
I didn't really want to watch it. I didn't want. I mean, I was quite happy to go out because I missed like the first 20 minutes.
Mm.
Although, as soon as I got to picking up my little one from gymnastics, I had it on my phone. So I was watching it, gave it a little fist pump, sitting next to two mums, as you do. And after that, everything was fine, and I was a bit annoyed actually that I wasn't sitting at home watching it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. As the game went on, I just felt less and less like it was an issue. I just felt like we were going to just continue to steamroll, and I thought we were really good. We gave up some chances. I think we expected that with Dragishin and Davis, and just Haaland was going to get chances. But as soon as Maddison made that run and was like in behind Stones, I was like, wow, we could just get behind them all day.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to talk about this a lot, but we'll save it for a bit. But it was. Oh, it was good. It was good. It was good. My wife was out, so I was looking after Eddie, and it's honestly the first time he's really been sort of anyway. Like I say, invested in it, but he was sort of copying me, like going mad for it. And then second half, he sort of tailed off. He started playing on my iPad, and I was like, I'm quite happy for you to do that because I'm inside stressing, and I just.
You don't need to project that onto him.
No. We had the first half. In fact, once we went 2-0 up and we had like just all the glorious like celebrations and stuff, all I could think about, the nervousness in me was like, this is it. This is like our first proper dad-son moment enjoying the football. And now Tottenham are probably going to ruin it.
Actually, second half, I had no issues whatsoever. I was actually fine with second half.
Oh, it's just Tottenham, isn't it?
It is.
It's just Tottenham.
Like, how can it does boggle the mind, and like, people will, and even we will question how you can go from losing 2-1 at home to Ipswich to winning 4-0 away at the Etihad. And to put it into perspective, so I had a little email on Saturday morning that came through. Wasn't expecting it. William Hill, haven't been on William Hill for like a year. I was like, oh, you got £10 in your account. I was like, oh, okay. Straight onto the Discord. What shall I do, guys? Shall I just withdraw it, or is that a free bet, really? And they're like, yeah, free bet. Why don't you do like Tottenham, but like both teams to score, Tottenham to win, both teams to score? I was like, yeah, perfect. That sounds great.
You're ridiculous. Get a little of that as well, mate. I was like, I said to Alicia, I said like, it's Tottenham, Man City, and I don't own Haaland. Like for me, that's as far as my stress level could ever go. Having a bet on it as well.
But yeah,
absolutely
for me, it was in my psychologically. I convinced myself it was free money. So I was like, well, okay, if it was 9-1, I was like, go on then. We're definitely going to concede. We might win. What happens if we win? And so there we are at 3-0. I'm like, bloody hell, please, can you just concede now? Can you concede? We can concede now. 5 minutes to go, 3-0 up. We can concede. Then Brennan scores, and I'm like, yes. Hold on. All sorts of emotions going on. Like, it didn't really matter, obviously, but yeah, that was just like a little added bonus.
How's the game week?
Meh, really. It's a bit of much ado about nothing, to be honest. I mean, I took a big hit. I took a -8. So, for me to actually come out of this game week with a green was always going to be a big. I was going to need some variance to work in my favour. Saturday afternoon went okay. Most of the games were a bit rubbish and started badly with Palmer, but Cunha obviously picked up, and then it was just. Obviously, the Haaland thing was good, obviously, and then today was okay, to be honest, and like because Salah's owned by everyone, so it was fine. It didn't really matter. It was just nice to get some points on the board for me because I was sitting on like 20 points over the night. But Bruno getting nothing today, bit odd, and so we can talk about the actual points in a sec, but yeah, it's okay. I've still got Lewis Hall tomorrow.
We need to talk about a man in chat. Have you seen it?
I have not been.
Go check Alex's message in chat.
Alex's message? Where's Alex's message in chat?
Just then. I'm going to go Alex Herculean. I mean, he basically is Hercules. 77 points with Isak and Hall to go. Overall rank 5.
5?
I would be in every single pod stream, everything I possibly could this week, and hopefully we're the first. But
But I've seen this, right. So even so, we're not going to be covering like the leagues today because it's like it's not the end of a game week. But if you actually go in and have a look at our FPL Invitational League, and you look at our Discord Patreon League, and it's like Yogesh, who's topped that. He was top, right? He was top, like top 3K. Wildcarded this week, another 85 points or something.
And he's really good at golf. He played that golf day. Played a lot.
And he's really good at golf.
Really good at golf.
Bastard.
Hate him. Alex, what is the league code, Adam?
Oh yeah. The league code is MGORK something.
MGORK2. MGORK2.
Yeah,
in you get, mate.
Get in there.
Get
in there before game week 19, and you'll be in.
Do our weeks?
Let's go. Game week scores. We'll start with you, mate. You're having a great week.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's been many decisions that have worked out better than the hit 3 weeks ago to do Cunha and Salah in for Semenyo and Haaland. I mean, just 3 Salah caps in a row, Cunha just destroying it 3 weeks in a row. Like it's just they've just carried. That's the big thing in it. Like it's a big swing on captaincy, Haaland v Salah, but then when you add in that most people that did make that move also have Cunha, it's just made it a huge swing. And it's like, yeah, I've been on the great side of it. Like it's really worked out. So from 3.5 million to 1 million, Mikolenko, Raya and Gabriel all got some cleans for me as well. Son got 6 points, which is just a bonus, really. Not losing out in the game last night. And Isak to come. So 75 after the little adjustment down. I just crept into the top million, and then Salah's bonus dropped. So hopefully Isak can get me into the top million for the first time this season.
Be good, mate. Yeah, you've leapfrogged me pretty quick. 3 weeks it's taken. And
I think that is the point, though, isn't it? Like 3 weeks, like a little run can make a huge difference. And we've got humongous amount of games up. There's been other people I've seen that did the opposite and have gone from like 500,000 to 2 million and stuff like that. We are still jostling, and little runs will still give us these things. So it's been my nice few weeks. It probably won't be my nice few weeks in a bit, but ride it where you can.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm on 61, although I took a -8, so it's actually 53. Martinez, I hate him. Genuinely hate him. Like,
we just all hate keepers, though?
I think we do, but I think I genuinely.
Flappy. Flapjack's the only person I know that loves keepers.
Yeah, but what did I send to you? I sent you a message, didn't I, last night about Martinez?
Yeah, you hate him.
Yeah.
Flapjack sent me a message saying Big Dick Henson.
Yeah, I just can't. I mean, I've had one clean from Martinez all season. It was against United. That was it. It's just been miserable. And I've had a pen save, to be fair.
Yeah.
So I've got Hall to come tomorrow.
That's what it was. But yeah, the cleans are an issue. But that is a thing with Villa. We've talked about it ad nauseum. But it's not like there's just really obvious that's where you go to.
No.
Just on that then at the moment, because you were thinking about getting them out. Where would you go?
Raya.
Would you?
Yeah. Raya. Just go Raya, get double Arsenal defence. Be quite straightforward.
I get it. I think if people were looking off and they wanted to go a bit cheaper, then I think for Brooklyn's probably the one for me.
I mean, the point here is, and somebody's asked the question, why do you have Martinez? The point is he was supposed to be on the bench right now. Like he was supposed to be sitting on my bench for like the next 7-8 weeks because Sam Johnston was Wolves' number 1, and they've got a good run of fixtures, and he'd have cleaned last week and got me points.
Yeah,
he wouldn't have cleaned this week, but still, I would have picked him over Martinez for the game against Fulham. In fact, well, I might not have actually for this particular game. I probably would have played Martinez, but Johnston's there for the good fixtures.
But
the fact that he doesn't play is a complete fucking disaster. So
yeah, he did.
Not ideal. And while they're winning, I mean that's not changing. So it is what it is. But yeah, I've got Hall still to play. I've got Lewis with nothing, which is fine. Obviously Spurs win, so yay. Gabriel, Bruno, nothing. Bumo, nothing. Salah with 26. Palmer and Rodgers, nothing. The age-old question, what does Rodgers do in FPL? Cheers for that, Praz. That's a great question. Wissa with nothing, and then Cunha, 16 points. Great. Solanke and Porro just cruising on the bench there, and then Leif Davis at the end. So, yeah, that's me. 53 points net, up to 1.3 million. Sorry, down to. I was at 1.3 million to start with. So, Lewis Hall gets a clean tomorrow. If I can avoid getting hurt by Isak, then it should be all good. Should be all good. It should be a second set of hits, or at least like minus 12 in the last 2 weeks with no damage. Actually, at all. In fact, all positive, which is good.
I do think is there is still quite a lot of people wildcarding. We've seen quite a few game week 12 wildcards, and we've still got some going in. So you've got to make sure you're not behind. Like, I know there's definitely a thing to try and keep transfers and do all that stuff. But like, I'm not a good person for that. I rolled once all season, so that's not me at all. But I do think right now there's some really good fixtures out there, and therefore you do want to fight those herd of people that are coming for us.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see it. We'll see it when we do the team selection in the midweek. But I've already had a look at the bus team, and it's pretty good. I mean, I actually quite like it, and I actually quite like it for a roll this week. So we'll have to just wait and see how that pans out. See how desperate I am to make
your squad's good.
to make a move. But yeah, my squad's pretty good for next week at least, and then see what we want to do in 14. I think is what I'll try and do. I have been kind of chasing last couple of weeks, trying to just get as many points as I can, and I needed to make those moves definitely because I would be significantly worse off if I hadn't, particularly last week.
Yeah, I think on your one though as well. Not only have you made player changes, but you've made structural changes. And I always think, well, like when you're doing, it's not like you were just like, oh, I'm switching that out. You've moved and changed structures. So if you can even hold rank during doing that bit, then hopefully you're in a position to then go.
Hopefully.
Okay. But this game will find other ways to hurt us. First game. Or
no. Admin's good. Admin's good. Hello. Hello to everyone in the YouTube chat as always. Glad to see you with us on a quite warm Sunday evening after a pretty cold week, I would say.
Windy.
But windy. Yeah, it's windy up here as well. No difference to normal up here though. About 35 miles an hour. It's fine. Like a light breeze.
60 it was down there.
That's quite a lot. It's basically a hurricane down there for you lot.
Yeah.
So hello to everyone in the YouTube chat. And hello to everyone that's listening back on podcast or on YouTube. If you enjoy the content, then please do drop a like on the video. And if you want to see more from us, make sure you hit subscribe. That'd be great. If you're listening back on podcast, drop us a review. Let us know.
We went past 9K this week.
We did go past 9K. I set a target for 9K by game week 12. We hit it. I've also set a target of 10K by the end of the year. Can we get there? You guys need to help us do that.
Yeah,
Christmas is coming. Yeah. Christmas is coming. Your gift to us is a click of a button. That's all it needs to be. That's all it needs to be. And we would really, really appreciate it. But if you do want to come and support us a bit more, we do have the Discord. You can go to patreon.com/above average FPL. Scan the QR code on the screen. Lots of games going on at the moment. A few people joined in the last couple of days. So thank you to those. And we'll be shouting out everybody at the end of the month. So if you join between now and the end of the month, we'll give you a shout out at the start of December. And one of the games that we're playing is Beat Baker. So if you can beat Baker in the month of November and you live in the UK, a chance to win a bottle of Never Say Die bourbon. So, Baker's the bourbon man. He'll tell you how good it is. But it's free.
Great. I'm on it now. And what I would say is this month, so last couple of months, I've been absolutely rubbish. So there's been, quite a sizable draw. At the moment, if you're on over 200 points for the month of November, so you can go on FPL Game Week, click month total, it'll show you how much you got. If you're on over 200 points, you've got a really good, and you live in the UK, you've got a very, very good chance of beating me. So you can join all the way up to start next game week.
Exactly. And just a final one very quickly. So we've partnered with Sports Breaks. Sports Breaks offer match day hospitality tickets and hotel and travel breaks. If you want to head over to maybe say Villa Park or the G-Tech, you can see all the clubs that they are partnered with on the screen there. So Chelsea, Man City, Everton, Liverpool, Man U, and Spurs. If you want to go to Liverpool, you can grab a hotel, go in there, go sit in the lounge, meet a Liverpool legend. I think packages are around about 300 quid for the big ones up there. They're great. I think that one of the ones at Spurs was a Europa League game for 80 quid, which includes your train ticket. We were in hospitality on Thursday, Baker. How was hospitality on Thursday?
We love the bowl food of Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
It was very, very, very good. So yeah, head over to Sports Breaks. The link is in the description. That would help us out. Particularly good if you're traveling to the UK. If you're not from the UK and you're traveling to the UK, say you are staying in London, and then you wanted to head up to Manchester, you get the hotel included. You can stay up there for a day, and then you can come back to London the next day. Seems like a reasonable way to do it. So yeah, as I say, link in the description, and thanks a lot to Sports Breaks. So we will start with the game that's just finished. And Man U were back after 2 minutes, and then they just kind of weren't really back. It's kind of still kind of the same stuff, but I'm not going to hold my hands up and say that obviously they're still in a rut or whatever. I mean, this is a new manager. He's just come in, and he's got to get his feet under the table quickly.
Yeah, it's a hard read. I mean, I guess what we saw, even when the team lineup came up, I was like, oh, so we've been told they're going to play 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1, whatever you want to call it. But that team looks like the players. You could also, when you see the lineup, have made a 4-4-2 or 4-2-3-1 out of that team, and you just said, yep, that's what that is as well. So, and then when it starts, you can clearly see Ahmad's playing wing back, and Ahmad was definitely wing back because he did some defensive work and got forward. Obviously, Mazraoui is a right centre back, and he's good defensively, so it's fine. Like, and a bit of cover there. Dallow's playing left wing back, got forward for that goal. Like, he was up, like the good part of that early break is to see who's in the box when there's a big break, and obviously both wing backs were there with Garnacho and Rashford in the middle, and you were like, okay, there's a front four of where we're going. But then Ipswich, when they got the ball, I just thought all game Ipswich were really good. I thought they tired a bit at the end. I thought they'd definitely get leggy. I think we've seen that in previous games where they've come out the blocks a little bit, played really well at the start, and then have to sort of hang on a little bit. But I don't know how much of that's legs, whether that's confidence and belief and all that space. Because one of the things that you used to see in the championships, Ivan used to talk at the time, was they just kept running. But I don't know. I felt like they were pretty tired.
Yeah. I mean, they've got a lot of industrial kind of players in that middle, and I think they could use probably a little bit more, because like Amari Hutchinson works really, really well alongside like a Liam Delap, who is just basically a bulldozer that will,
wonderful.
He's wonderful on the ball, off the ball. He'll carry it, he'll hold it up, he'll knock people over, he'll do all that great stuff that you want to see from a centre forward. It just means that you can take the ball up the pitch and do things with it. He was obviously very unlucky not to score. I thought Onana was unreal.
Onana's continuously, sneakily been very, very good. He stands up, makes himself big.
It's the position. It's the early position where he gets himself into, like the lap one on the line. I mean, he's already diving to save that before, because he knows what's happening. Like, that's coming off the back of your heel. I know exactly where I need to be for this one.
I don't think, again, when you're looking at keepers, I know that obviously we've got one more good game and then it's a couple of not so good games and stuff like that. But Onana, it'd be in the conversation. Like, I wouldn't be disappointed if I had Onana every week when I watch him. I'd be like, well, he did his job. I think he's been excellent. The issue potentially is if they end up with 5 defenders, the keeper and at least 4 of those are classed as defenders in FPL, then it becomes harder and harder for the keeper to actually get the bonus.
Unless it's a case of more bodies, more blocks, softer shots, and lower XG chances that he just sweeps up. Yes,
he's playing really well. Dallo in good positions. I don't know on Dallo whether I could go there when he's not playing on his right side. Do you know what I mean? Like
Mm.
I'd always be thinking it's a matter of time before Luke, because Luke Shaw obviously comes on and plays left centre back type things. But you're like, what happens if he goes there? What if they're losing and he comes off early and they put Garnacho out there? All of it was just, I was like, I don't think I can trust it, but I do think Dallow's got some points in him. Um, so it's a bit of a wait and see. I mean, he brings on two strikers. That's really interesting. Um, albeit the second you knew one of those, I don't know, you're watching it as a Bruno owner, but the second you saw one of those was Ericsson going off, you were like, oh, that's Bruno going backwards.
Yeah.
Um, so Bruno, we need to talk about Bruno.
Yeah. I mean, I was just going to say what you were saying was quite right in the the discussion about Dallo and the options. I think that leans even further into the fact that we need to wait and see almost how he's going to develop this system that he wants to play with the squad that he has, because there are he can move things around and he can make things. I think there's a lot of belief in what he will do, and I think United fans do just get very excited about shiny new toys generally, but I think he will be given by fans at least the time. I don't think this season's an issue for them. I feel like there's enough quality at the top of the league at the moment that fans are like, just get us playing some good football and we'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then it's after that, it's a case of like, now we know, now we're gonna we're gonna layer on this we are Manchester United Football Club expectation, and then it will go from there. So I think he's got some time to work it out. But yeah, Bruno was very interesting.
Like Amarim speaks brilliantly. Like interviews, everything. I saw someone who was a sporting fan say like he never ever puts a foot wrong, and you can kind of get it.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it's nice to. I mean, he was obviously just going to come in and speak perfect English straight away after the the shambles of what happened in Portugal.
But you do think as well, like he'll be just hoping of whatever they get through Christmas to an extent, and he'll be desperate to get that little winter break to try and get his boys on the pitch and learn it, because he doesn't get that preseason, does he?
Yeah,
he's got a run, and that's never easy. That's never easy. So Bruno.
So the interesting thing about this is what you've got on the screen is the heat maps basically, or the touch maps from SofaScore from the game against Leicester on the left and the game against Ipswich on the right. And what you can clearly see is Bruno's getting into a lot of very advanced positions, particularly on that left-hand side against Leicester. That's where he got his assist from. And on the right-hand side, it's a lot deeper. There's a lot of dog work in there. There's a lot of more traditional centre to almost defensive midfielder sort of work. In fact, both sides. It's very left and right.
It's very quarterback.
Yeah, quarterback is
very quarterback. It's very quarterback, which is you need to effectively, they're going to play that front four that scored that goal early on. That's like four wingers: Rashford, Garnacho, Ahmad, Dalot. They basically went forward. So therefore, you've got four outlets. And he said it. So the quote that Amarim said after the game was, Bruno Fernandes, he improved his game by playing near the ball. Near the ball is where he wants him. Then he can give us the long pass. Can't put him all the time because he wants to do the long pass all the time. But that was clearly a play. Now he almost played Garnacho in so many times. It was so close to just about getting through, but it was like didn't quite get there. I thought
he had the one with the late tackle at the last man tackle as well. And he was trying to. I mean, he was trying to cross it over to Rashford, which would have been a bit annoying. But yeah, if he takes the shot, then maybe he gets an assist. I don't know.
Maybe he does. But he was close, but he was deep. And then obviously, the real only scoring chance was the free kick late on. Where when he was lining up for that, I thought this is probably it. This is probably it, and it would have been a very good result from a pretty meh FPL performance. He was taking all of the free corners from one side. However, it did work them quite a lot. They did lots of short ones, and then he would swing it in on the keeper. But I guess it's like one game sample versus one game sample. What on earth do you take from it? The only thing I can take from it is he wants him near the ball. Now, that does mean, it could mean he's more talismanic. That might mean you don't want him at all because actually what you want him to do is be getting in the box.
Yeah, I mean the benefit. I think the benefit is like 2 of his next 4 games aren't particularly pretty, although the other 2 are Everton and Forest at home. So it's weird because I think in some ways I was looking to move him on. As somebody who owns him, I was looking to kind of move him on soon. But I do need someone else to jump out at me as to like who to pick because there aren't too many of those at the moment.
It's an easy one today to think maybe I can move him on, but a week, a week to work on it. What do we see? What do we see by next weekend? I just think I think it makes it very difficult to cap him next weekend.
Yeah.
I think it makes it very difficult to cap him next weekend.
Would you want to cap him? There's just too many good options, I think, next weekend.
There's lots of good options, but there's no that's the one.
Yeah.
There's no that's the one. When we come to like the end of the week and it'll be like predicted points, there's not going to be someone that's going to be like, hey, he's predicted 8 points and the next person's 5 points. It's going to be a series of players. I don't even think there'll be someone predicted over 7 points next week. I think it'll be somewhere late 6s through to mid 5s. And I think there'll be 7 or 8 players in that space. There's lots of players with good fixtures, but are they necessarily great fixtures?
Yeah, true.
That's always the case when it's a Salah Haaland matchup in it. When Liverpool play Man City, it's like, oh, that's a bit more complicated. Boomo would have been a slam dunk a few weeks back for captain next week.
Yeah.
That's suddenly a little bit more, that's not very easy. Palmer, obviously, suddenly is like, maybe not. And then
maybe not. I mean, we'll get to Chelsea, but I mean, if Palmer scores, if Madueke doesn't get in the way, it's not even a discussion, right? Because
you want to do Chelsea now?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we can move on to what we're going to do. Oh, we left Chelsea a little bit. Okay, we can do Chelsea now. That's fine.
Let's do Chelsea.
Because 3 XG away at Leicester. I mean, it's Leicester, but it's still good. And but like 0.9 XG comes from Palmer slamming it into Madueke's heel, and outside of that, I mean, Jackson probably gets all 3 anyway, but Palmer probably gets 2, so it's probably a 7-point goal, right?
7-point goal.
That comes in, and he's sitting on 9 points. So I think if he finishes the game week with 9 points, he's just banker just bring him in next week and fire the captain.
Everyone's captain. Yeah, look, mate. You know me. I'm very simple in this world. I fully expect I'll be captaining Cole Palmer next weekend. Yeah. I don't think it would be much more complicated than that. But a thing that I would say with Chelsea in this, well, Leicester. Let's not even talk about Leicester. We can abscond from talking about Leicester in this because Cooper's gone.
Yeah, fair.
So we can use that as a reason not to talk about them. But from a Chelsea perspective, I think I don't want to say stumbling. That's not the right word because they're doing really, really well. But I think every week Maresca is kind of like nudging his way or finding his way to where it should be. And I firmly believe the João Felix one is another reason why that would be there. I always think back to FML did a pod at the start of last season with double pivot guys. And they talked about Nkunku and Jackson and said, well, interesting on both of them is, in fact, not this preseason, season before, but interesting on both of them is they're both better playing with someone, both better, they're good passers, they're good players, they not huge shot volume guys. And I think I felt like I saw that a bit with João Felix and Jackson they dovetailed quite well. Jackson is actually really good if he drifts a bit left. So losing your left winger and actually leaving Jackson and João Felix to interchange amongst it. Like João Felix is just a really, really good player. I'm like, you've just sold another piece there. That's another piece you've just got in. You're gradually moving further and further up the table. You're right in amongst it, other than obviously Liverpool quite a way ahead, but they're right in amongst it with everyone else. Jackson looks great. Joe Felix looks great when he came in. And they've got the option of either going, I mean, they've got 300 million quid's worth of centre midfielder in Enzo, Caicedo, and Lavia.
Yeah.
And you can either go harder with Caicedo and Lavia, or you can do the double pivot with Enzo and Caicedo. It's just, you're like, that's really good. And then the bit that I just don't like is I don't like Palmer and Madueke. I don't like two right-sided guys who are both left-footed. They just inevitably, we talked about it all the time, but the actual goal is nowhere near as big as an issue. The amount of times that Palmer lays it off to Madueke and he just mucks about and then eventually does nothing with it, when it's just like, one to me. When you watch Odegaard and Saka play on the right side and you're like, it's beautiful.
Yeah, there's just a pure understanding of how.
I don't know how Palmer doesn't get more and more annoyed. I think if they just put Pedro Neto on the right wing, so Pedro Neto was carrying a bit from internationals, but I think if come next week they suddenly go play Pedro Neto right wing instead of Madueke, that front four with it, whichever choice of the two behind it, is just possibly the best attack in the league.
I mean, they've still got yeah, they've still got I mean, they've still got to balance, a lot of games, haven't they? This is the thing that they've done obviously really well.
They've got two players for every position.
Yeah.
They've got so many players. Like I'm talking about Madueke. Like Madueke is not a problem really as a player. Like he's good, isn't he? But you've got Madueke or Neto. You've got I can just bring Nkunku on if I don't play Nkunku in the Nkunku could rotate with João Felix now.
Yeah.
Like you could have him as that guy that changes that. We can bring Lavry in versus that. They just bring back in Badiashile, a £70 million guy in defence because Reece James is out. We'll play for Fana, a £70 million defender out of right back. We'll move Colwill, who we paid £50 million for from Brighton. We'll just move him across one, and we'll bring £70 million guy in there, whilst having 70 odd million Cucurella or 50 million. What was that outside him?
It's genuinely insane.
It's genuinely nuts.
And then just playing Rob Sanchez.
And then still playing Rob Sanchez, despite having spent over 100 million on other keepers that are sitting around in that team. And having loaned out a £70 million keeper in Kepa.
To Bournemouth. Incredible.
Like it is like they're playing
it's Champman, isn't it? They're just playing. It's just pure.
It's Champman. It's Champman, but you've also added 4 other managers for other clubs and gutted them and sold them all like to Chelsea, so you can just have that fun game with it. It's stupid. Like God, the talent they've got.
I just hope the House of Cards falls really, really bad for them in a couple of years' time.
I don't see it soon though. Like I can't see a world in which they're not top 4. And I genuinely think
that's the game plan, though. That's the game plan, isn't it? It's just literally to bully to the point of we're going to make so much money out of this that actually we back ourselves to, get the results, to get the money out that we need to make everything work, and then we can just continue to do it.
I would back. I'll back Chelsea to beat Man City in the league right now. If you offer me now, which one do I think? I'd back it. You watch what they've got and then you look at this and you're like...
Yeah. Daniel Banks is saying Colwell was an academy kid. Well, they got one then.
Did they? Or did they sell him and then get him back?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
Something went on with that. Oh, no, they had to get him back in there.
They loaned him to Brighton, didn't they?
They loaned him to Brighton, but I've got a feeling there was something weird went on.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong in that. But, or maybe that was it. Brighton couldn't afford it because they wanted like 50 million. Anyway, like that's a hollow claim compared to what else we got there. João Felix walks in on like $500,000 a week wherever he's on. Like nobody else in the world can afford him. We can. It's like they've got it all, but I do think Madueke is continually a problem for Palmer. It's just continually a problem for him because he just doesn't give him the ball back.
I definitely made a mistake there because I thought Chelsea had an easier game than Villa next week for some reason. I must have been thinking of the game week 14 game because they've got Villa next week. So
depends how you feel about Villa defence.
It's true. Should we go back to? Is there? So we said we're not going to talk about Leicester. We've spoken about. We've spoken.
Nico
about
Jackson
stuff.
Is there?
Jackson's good.
He's really good. It's just bloody difficult to own him when he's on 4 yellows. But and everyone will say it's about that, but it's not just that. It's that we've got so many strikers who take penalties that are also really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I do think he'll score 16, 17, 18 goals maybe this season non-pen. But I also think I probably won't own him.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go to Arsenal versus Forest. Probably a more controlled game than I probably expected, maybe from Arsenal. They were just excellent in possession of the ball. Odegaard, in that, like I said it 3 weeks ago, they needed Odegaard back so much in that pocket. And that first goal, the link up between you mentioned it, the link up between Saka and Odegaard, it's almost telepathic. It's almost telepathic, and it's just so straightforward for them.
It's so straightforward, and it's like they're telepathic, but then actually what they added to this game was Gabriel Jesus instead of Kai Havertz, because Kai Havertz wants to be part of it. He wants to be a trio with those ones, where he also has the link up with those, and that's happened at first. Gabriel Jesus is in nobody's link up.
He just goes where he wants.
He's absolute chaos, and that made it even better for Odegaard and Saka. Like, they didn't know what to do. Jesus was going left, then he'd go right, and every time he went right, Saka went number 9. I don't think I've ever seen so many touches centrally. Obviously, where the goal he scores, he's virtually on the left side of the penalty spot. He wouldn't be in that position if Havertz was on the pitch.
Yeah.
But because Jesus is there, it comes in even further. It comes off it.
But he had 2 or 3 occasions where he managed to get into that sort of inside space. Like he had the one save which was almost like a traditional Saka strike from wide. But then the one that he didn't get out of his feet, that was so much more central as well. And if he's going to get into those positions, it's going to be tough not owning him. But
I'm an awful person in that Tottenham won 4-0, and how I celebrated it, my wife was out, was I got myself a whiskey, and I saw that the full game for Arsenal Forest was on Sky Sports at 8:00. I wasn't really particularly interested in watching the PGA Golf once Wesley Bryan had gone out, so I thought I'm going to watch the whole Arsenal game. And yeah, I mean, Saka in that first half was just unbelievable. He could have been a 20-pointer. He was always in the right space. He was always in the right place. He was so good. So I celebrated last night the 4-0 win by taking out Son and bringing in Saka immediately. I looked at him, I was like, just can't do it. Just can't not have him in my team. He's too good.
Yeah.
We know he's great in the bonus. We know he's excellent. If West Ham are terrible tomorrow night, which obviously I hope they are, and Lopetegui doesn't get the sack, it might just be Saka next week for me, captain.
Yeah, that's fair.
Timber.
Yeah. I mean, it's only Salah that had more shots than Saka yesterday. This week.
Saka, as usual, it's high volume and it sounds low, but it's because a lot of them get blocked.
Yeah.
That's happened all season. A lot of his shots get blocked because he shoots early, he takes it through crowds. He doesn't really, not a lot of teams let him get in behind. Forest, I don't know, no. I saw the interview, but I was like, have you just let this happen? Like, have you thrown this? Like, Anderson and Gibbs-White played the game before an international break and then they weren't ready. And I was like, have you just felt you'd have a bit of a rest here? Obviously, Chris Wood comes back from travelling. Just play the last 30 minutes, Chris. I do wonder.
It felt pretty casual. I mean, Forest have got, who have they got coming up? I mean, they've got Ipswich next week. I mean, that's
Ipswich home next week.
So again, I mean, I know that I've said this before and I've been shot down for it before somewhere, but there are games I think managers need to accept that they're not going to win, or there's a very low probability of them winning the game.
Nuno was like that.
Yeah. It was why would he put his best foot forward against Arsenal away and City away in, like, when if he doesn't win the Ipswich game, he's screwed.
Not even just that, but if he got a proper injury to Gibbs White, like who's obviously still struggling from the Chelsea one, if he got an injury to Chris Wood, like Chris Wood's not young, he's got to manage him. If Anderson, who's like his young star, gets like, and then obviously Alanga, the second he was looked like a problem with his shoulder, he took him straight off. Yeah, I don't think there's, yeah, wouldn't surprise me if he chucked this a bit in the bin. It does make it very interesting after next week of does he do the same thing against with all the thick and fast games? Does he do the same thing against Man City?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe.
Maybe if you keep on like it's Haaland v Forest might turn out, from Forest being a good defensive team to maybe they just chuck a couple.
We're not accusing Nuno of anything here, of course.
No, no, no.
No.
But he seemed pretty happy for what happened. I'm sure Forest fans were upset because obviously they've been so good. They've been so good. But I think also, it's realistic that top half finish for them, especially with
huge
financial stuff, for them is a big deal. And they could really just keep putting themselves and well, obviously, if Forest went down, it would be an absolute disaster. They're not going to do that now. They've got enough points in it. So
yeah,
consolidate, keep doing the right stuff. Fine.
Very good.
Timber. Baseline 13. So we had a loser from the BPS pod that Timber went from a baseline of 8 to, we said we'd have to see what happens when he got on the right. He played on the right. He was really good. He got in some really good positions. Interestingly, second half, once Partey came on, because Partey liked sitting at that right hand side, felt like that curtailed a lot the attack for Timber. And then Saliba, as we said on the pod, like he was always going to be in and amongst it. He did enough. Set pieces and Gabriel, they're still doing this weird thing where Gabriel's on his own. So it's just Gabriel and then everybody else hangs out at the back post. Feels almost impossible. You get a Gabriel header in that space.
Yeah. Yeah, unless I've seen it before though. They've the movement is normally to distract and then Gabriel just comes in. But if that's too obvious, then that's not
that only works
helpful.
when he gets it like 5 yards out, doesn't he? Like he towers above everyone like he did against Tottenham and that space. But I just think keepers are not going to let it get that far anymore. Teams are starting to work a lot harder against them on set pieces.
Yeah. I wish we were able to have a little bit of a baseline timeline. That'd be nice. See how if someone's out there that's interested in building one of those things. I'm looking at it on because the BPS kind of links quite nicely with So Rare. So I'm looking at, there's a thing on So Rare data which has a timeline of how their points evolved, and because he doesn't get a decisive in the game, we can see his points do gradually increase through half time. They do they still carry on actually through the second half. So maybe it wasn't as.
But you get things as you reach limits and stuff like that as well.
No, because it's incremental points. It's
okay.
It just jumps up like that. It wouldn't be the same as hit your 30 passes and get 6 points.
Yeah,
there's not that kind of jump. You get 0.1 per pass. So
yeah,
it's very little bit different. But I think that covers Arsenal.
Yeah, Arsenal defense good.
Worried about,
good.
Not worried about Chris Wood. It's just just get.
Oh,
we just say. I think we just say it's like a long trip back from Samoa, right? And then we.
But I just think on this one, what we should just do, Brian, next, because you are going from this guy to this guy, is Chris Wood. If you've got Chris Wood and you've got nothing else to do this week, would you go to João Pedro? Because Ipswich were good.
Yeah, we're jumping around. Let's go.
Ipswich are good. But then I thought Southampton were good.
Southampton were good. They were still open. They're still really open. Ipswich weren't anywhere near as open. And they were a lot more direct. And Southampton were a lot more, I wouldn't say risky, but they were a lot more confident in their work around their own box, I guess, which was to their detriment a couple of times. massively. But we can talk about that when we talk about Liverpool in a minute. So Bournemouth 1, Brighton 2. Game changes a little bit with the red card that shouldn't have been. I think we can both agree on that. It wasn't even, for me, it wasn't even a foul. So we'll just move on from there. So the two main points here from me was that João Pedro following up on that strike to start with from Welbeck. It's just continually just showing his hunger and his willingness just to be where he needs to be. It's a very simple tap in, but you've got to make that run to be there.
It's a very interesting world with sort of big dog mentality in it. And we're going to talk about two today, in that they could be just season keepers in João Pedro. We'll have to talk about Cunha later. But there's clearly a mentality there. There's clearly something there that's like, special. And Hertzler's used the word special about him. We work in a very stats heavy game. And my stats heavy game says this season he scored 4 goals now. 4 goals.
Yep.
1.7 XG. 4 goals. He's had 5 shots on target this season.
And scored 4 goals.
Scored 4 goals. His shot volume is horrific. His XG is pretty bad. His general play from an FPL perspective, everything we'd look at is bad. But he hasn't had any penalties this season. And he's still got 4 goals. Like last season, he scored 5 goals from open play and 4 penalties. But he scored 4 goals from 7.9 non-penalty XG last season. So
bad finisher.
Bad finisher to 4 goals from 1.7. Now he's 23. He looks mentally like king of the world.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a time where he stops scoring, or is he just incredible?
Is he just going to continue? I mean, you take that back a little bit though, and he still has, previous seasons he's outscored his XG. So it's not like it almost feels like
we've got no real data for him.
It is small sample size. It is like smallsamplesize.com. I mean, I say that. He started 19 games last season, which is fine. He starts 31 the season before and 15
in the championship. Oh,
that's in the championship.
Very important caveat.
Yeah, sorry, important caveat there. But then starts 15 games in the Premier League. Fair enough.
He gets 11 goals in 31 games in the championship.
Yeah, it's not very many.
It's not very many.
But then this is a much more functional. This is a much more. I know they obviously come up that season, but this is a much more functional side playing in a much tougher league. So they are. I mean,
my eyes say
he's great,
incredible. The pass is incredible.
We haven't even spoken about the pass.
The fact that he was the person that followed up, it's just so much more, so much better. That like if the shot goes in from Jorginho and that was Pedro that scored it, I'd say that's less sustainable than if that was Pedro. But the fact that he's doing the follow up, I'm like, that's sustainable. That's what I want.
Yeah.
So everything says, I want. Everything says, if I have him, I can't ever bench him because he's special. So therefore, I'm like, well, you're never playing Rodgers again. Once you got him, he's just sitting on your bench every week because you couldn't bench him for anything. We've just seen what he did at City. But will it? And if you're only taking 1 shot a game, can you brace?
I mean, I think, do you not just
because he is taking 1 shot a game?
Do you not just factor price into that and say, cool, I'll play him, but I just never cap him?
But I think there's a lot of people who are looking at captaining him next week.
I think that's, and as well, you got to remember he's taken off after the 64th minute in the game yesterday.
Yeah.
So he is suspects. I mean, there is
64 minutes, but they had a man sent
they had a
off.
man
So
sent off,
would he
so
have
it's a
done?
bit.
Is it
Yeah, it's
64
true.
minutes because I'm managing return to fitness, or is it 64 minutes because we had a man sent off and therefore you take him off because I don't want to break him? Like, you can run the narratives you want to do, but ultimately
Yeah,
the value is incredible.
yeah.
Would you so I'm in that position. I mean, I'd have to take Chris Wood to him for a hit this week.
What else would you be doing? Oh, because you've already made a move. You've already done something. Yeah. Sorry. Yes.
People at Harry's in the chat, and he's looking. He could be doing Wood to João Pedro for free this week. I think if you've got, say, 2 transfers and you're only going to use one of them, and it's going to be on that. Yeah, I think I probably would do it. I think I probably would do it because he's just his all-round game is so good. And at some point, he's going to get these penalties. Because what we do know is that when he does get in the box, he loves to die for his own penalties.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's Southampton, Fulham, Leicester, Palace, West Ham, Brentford. Like, just get him in.
Yeah.
I think if you've got that transfer to work with, I think it's just get him in.
I'm probably just going to play Wood this week, but it's almost a nailed-on thing that I'll do it next week. But by then, they'll be about the same price.
What is João Pedro now? Like 5.7?
5.6, I think.
5.6.
He's gone to 5.6, but it'll be 5.7.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got the other guys. Would you move?
Tom Stevenson says, so nice when the move is from DCL. Like, if it's from DCL, just do it now.
If you've got DCL, if you so I said last night to a few of them on a chat with, they had Jimenez, and I was like, just get him gone, just do it. Just do it. Jimenez to João Pedro is just an easy move. Like, if you've got DCL, it's an easy move. I'd even do it for a hit on those guys. If you've got Strand Larson, I'd do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you've got Wood, if you've got Cunha, definitely don't do it. If you've got Wood, you've got to have absolutely no problems in your team to do it. But I do think you'll probably do it in the next few weeks. I suspect I'll end up doing it next week.
Cool. There's a question about who's the best Brighton midfielder.
Well, I think Mitoma has to be the big boy. He has to be the big boy in it. We know, we've talked about it before, but he's like 27, 28 nearly this season, wherever he is. He's prime of his life. He's the most nailed on one you've got. Everyone else should be sweating on the team sheet every week. Obviously, they played a front three this game from 4 of Mitoma, João Pedro, Welbeck, and Jorginho. And you're like, but Adingra's right there. Mintez right there. Like,
and Mintez ready. Mintez ready to come back in. Adingra had an absolute stinker, didn't he, last game that he played? So
yeah.
I don't know
but also Adingra would have been away, international break and stuff like that. So
yeah, I think you're hearing me cough, but I don't think everyone else is. So as you see me cough.
Okay. All good. Semenyo is banned. If you can bench him because the fixtures get better after.
Yeah. Then back to Liverpool.
Back to Liverpool. Can't believe I haven't done Spurs yet, but we can hold it.
We'll get there. It's building up to it. I had to change the photo. I was fuming. Well, I wasn't fuming, but I had to change the photo after Salah goes down to 2 bonus.
Goes down to 2 bonus, but takes home the spoils in terms of the captaincy debate, with Palmer and Haaland blanking. We'll take it. There's definitely not something we can complain about. Did you in your head be really angry when he took his shirt off? I was fuming.
Yeah, I was not happy. I was not happy about that.
Well, I mean, in a way, if he'd done it when it was like a worldie and stuff like that, I'd get it. But when it's a penalty, I'd have been like,
it's a penalty against the team that's bottom of the league, and it wasn't even last minute. Like, it's like the 80th minute. Yeah, it's still 10 minutes to go.
And then misses 2 good chances.
Yeah,
including obviously one big chance, which has ended up killing us. Yeah, so I tweeted, but I think what happened is that because me, you, and Harry were basically counting the bonus points as they were happening. We were working it out, looking at all the stats. We were doing the stuff in our little chat, and we saw that he was level at the point where Sub was like, they're both on 43 points, and then he hit the post, and you were like, well, that's it. It's gone. And
No,
then it
no,
was
no.
like,
He was on 44, then he hit the post and it was gone. So that was well, it was down to level, but it was given as just like a shot off target.
right,
So, but it wasn't given as a big chance missed.
wasn't a big chance missed.
But then, so then,
But before it went to 44, no, it went 43, 45, then 44.
oh, okay.
So it went up, then went down. So it went up. So I think they gave the post. I think there's still a lot of pigs work out where post is like, is that on target? It's not.
No,
It's not on target.
Not on target.
But I reckon he got a +2 for being on target, and then it ends up getting taken off, and the big chance missed, and all the rest of it. So down it dropped. But anyway, we're still seeing this thing of Liverpool that they want control, want control, want control. Darwin's weird almost, isn't it? It's not Darwin. It's still not Darwin.
He didn't feel involved today at all. Not really.
And when a team sits in, you don't actually really want Gakpo either. I thought Gakpo was really disciplined and he stayed really wide left. But you were like,
you just want the chaos of Luis Diaz just running.
You do, because he's not going to beat the man, is he?
No.
Not going to beat the man.
No, because he's just going to go inside out, left, right, and just cause havoc and chaos. The one thing that Diaz does do is he shoots more, though. So whilst he's off the pitch, genuinely Salah gets more chances.
It's even better, isn't it? It's even better. Ultimately, I was never worried. I was genuinely just on Salah. I'm just like, I'm never worried. God, you're dying. Can you just have a drink?
Mate, I got something on the. Mate, I've already drunk everything in here.
Oh gosh,
nightmare.
Caught something about Salah for a couple of minutes if you want to run to get more drink.
Oh, you want to talk about Salah? You can talk about Salah, mate. Hopefully we don't lose connection.
Get some water. You get some water. Don't lose the connection. Right, Solo. So yeah, I just don't think I was ever concerned that Salah wasn't going to return, because you were just like, it's going to happen, because it always happens. I saw Andy Moe tweet at half time and he was like, where's my 8-point goal that's just going to happen at some point? Like, I'm assuming that's what happens here. And it is what happens here. Obviously, it came a bit earlier than expected it to. But yeah, because it kind of is a little underwhelming at times on Liverpool. What we're seeing, it is just, okay, no real step up in pace, no real step up in urgency. Then you're like, well, it's all going to end up at Salah in the end. And it almost ended up at Salah throughout the whole game. Szoboszlai, I was watching the first half with a Liverpool fan. And so I was watching the first half. Me and a Liverpool fan dad took our kids to soft play and watched the first half whilst they messed around.
Sensational. Love that.
And we were both moaning about Szoboszlai taking stupid pot shots. So look, I mean, those little ones before, just Szoboszlai greedily shooting everything. It was like, what is he doing? And then suddenly just bangs one in. But yeah, I was like, they're not really getting anywhere with it. And I thought Southampton were good. I thought they were really good. Obviously, I think Dibbling's first half was excellent. And then, as we like to say on this pod, Robbo did Robbo things.
You did the Robbo thing, the Robbo corner, If you know,
if anyone knows us on this pod, we're obviously going to say it was a perfectly good penalty.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
No questions asked. I mean, I think the thing about it is that they just kept the decision, because I guess they couldn't work it out.
Couldn't work it out. I genuinely think like he's still falling into the box. Like the ball obviously ends up in the box, and the ball's still in the box while he's touching him, and I'm like, well, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it wouldn't have mattered. I mean, I'd have been fine with either decision. If you take off the fact that I've got, well, I don't have any Liverpool defenders anymore, so I wasn't really fussed.
I think the point that people might miss is that I think if he gets moved back to a free kick, he gets sent off, because he's going through.
There were other defenders there, were there not?
No, there was Van Dijk inside him, but he was going to go past on the outside. We won't ever know, but that's the potential, is that he got sent off if he gets pulled back to a free kick. You were never stopping him.
No.
And then the ridiculousn't that on BPS, I mean, it's just the stupidity of it. Armstrong loses 6 for missing a penalty, but gains 4 because both shots were on target.
Yeah.
So last season, Kelleher would have got 15 for the penalty save on his BPS, and Armstrong would have got -6.
Yeah.
21 point swing. This season, Kelleher gets 9.
-4.
-4.
Because he concedes.
No, 5. And
Such a
then he
waste.
gets
Like,
4. It's ridiculous.
it's like you've saved it, but the save wasn't good enough. Like, what the hell are they supposed to do? Like, the odds are just like literally against them.
Kelleher and Hendo both save penalties this season. Nowhere near. Absolutely nowhere near the bonus. But yeah, at some point, a team that went at Liverpool were going to start scoring. Chelsea opened them up early in the season. Obviously only once got away with it. They didn't get away with it once. Sorry, when Konate put his left leg out. But a team going at Liverpool, I still think they're there to be got at. I don't think the amount of cleans that they've been getting is sustainable. I do think even next week, Man City against it, I'm like, well, if they go at them, I still think you can get to them, especially in this game. I thought it was rather ballsy going in with Curtis Jones and Szoboszlai. I know Gravenberch has done a lot, but having those two, I don't think he'll do that next week. Obviously, McAllister hopefully, would be back in for him, but obviously McAllister just doesn't play after Argentina. But
I think there's a lot around. I think there's a lot around what actually happened in this first goal in particular, where there's just, the knowledge is that Southampton are going to look to play
out from the back,
risky football. They want 2 guys that are going to press and run, and when you combine that with Gakpo and Salah and Darwin, it's pretty like those 5 pressing is pretty brutal. To be fair, there's a lot of energy
in it,
and it was almost an inevitability. They do look like they already look like a championship side waiting to happen. Southampton, saying that. Annoyingly, even when I look at the sponsor on their shirt, I think it looks like a championship shirt. It's that bad.
I really felt like the best way that or chance that Liverpool were going to score early on was that Southampton would turn the ball over. That's what it felt like. It felt like when Liverpool had the ball for sustained periods, Southampton were pretty comfortable. They got all the men behind the ball. It all felt comfortable. When Southampton turned it over, that's when they were in big, big trouble. And obviously that did lead to that first goal. That is the only thing about potentially like a João Pedro captain. Brighton are incredible at turning the ball over.
That's true.
Southampton play out the back against Brighton, they will be on them. They will be all over. They will swarm the hell out of them. And Pedro's the best presser in that team.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Yep.
It's a big, big, big problem if you haven't got Pedro next week.
Anything else on this one? We move on?
No, I just think that's it. Picks wise, it's Salah. You can cap him whenever you want. You can even cap him next week against Man City, I expect.
There'll be plenty. There'll be plenty of those.
Huge number of people will do it. Is it time?
They'll just trust it. It's time, mate. It's time. Let's go.
It's time to talk.
It's time to talk Tottenham.
What was the score again?
It's Manchester City 0, Tottenham 4.
Nice.
Sounds good, doesn't it? Proper BBC.
Yeah, it was good. That was good.
Final score
printer
time. Final score.
Yeah.
Love it. Classic.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, like I said earlier, man, this is like just getting huge chances. I mean, obviously he's not on this screen, but I mean, how worried were you when you saw Kulusevski on the right? Like to start with, you were like, it doesn't feel right.
No, well, I wanted it. Yeah. So straight after the game against Ipswich, I was chatting with Ivan, our friend, Ipswich fan. We were chatting, a little chat. Me and Ivan, and I think Danny were chatting about it. They were like, "What do you think about the City game then?" Because that's not good. And I was like, "The thing is, the easiest way that we could take City apart is play three central midfielders. That's what you need, and play Kulusevski on the right. I've been moaning week in, week out that Johnson on the right wing means you're playing with 10 men, and you can't do it against teams that are good at pressing and good on the ball. Play three centre midfielders. At the time, I said, hopefully you'll play Bentancur, Biss in the middle, and Salah on the left. Play all three of them, and play Kulusevski out on the right, because Kulusevski loves playing against Man City, so just give him the freedom to do as you wish. And I was like, but Ange's stubborn. He'll never do that kind of move. And then when the team came out, obviously Bentancur obviously can't be done, but you bring Maddo in and you could put Kulusevski out there. And I was like, well, I can't complain about this now. This is exactly what I want. Because we talked about on Thursday night was, how do we get out? Like,
this is true. And Kulusevski's one thing he's so good at is picking the ball up deep and just carrying.
Yeah, and Maddison.
Yeah.
Like Maddison did so often. Maddison did the role that Romero does for us, in that he dropped and started the move.
But you've said this, and you've said this in the past. Like, you said it almost like 3 weeks after Kulusevski signed, I think. He's like baby KDB, and that's exactly what KDB does. Is he picks up that ball and he just moves everything forward.
Do you know, often I've looked to try and find that tweet that I said he was baby KDB. I definitely tweeted it, but I can't find it.
We'll find it. We'll find it at some point.
Oh, I actually went looking for it again yesterday. I was like, where's that? I can't find it. I definitely called him baby KDB when he signed.
Yes.
But yeah, like that's the way, that's the blueprint to beat Man City at the moment, is play free. And what we did more than anything was target Rico Lewis. Now, I don't know if that was like pre-planned or as soon as he's on the team sheet, but we kicked the crap out of Rico Lewis, and they were tiny little fouls which are never getting booked. But Sarr, Maddison, them in particular, and Dom, those three, every time Rico got the ball, they just kicked him. Sometimes they won it, sometimes they knocked him over, but you could see he was just getting annoyed with it more and more and more. And then guess what he did? He completely lost his head. He got booked, and 2 minutes later, he almost got booked again, Rico. But he can't beat the press, Rico, on it.
No,
he hasn't got the skill on it.
No, and he definitely looked all over the place for the second goal. He didn't know where to put his feet, didn't know where to make the run or who to follow, or anything. He just looked confused.
Teams will watch it and they'll be like, just press the crap out of Rico Lewis. He cannot play centre midfield. He looked like a defender playing in centre midfield, and it wasn't anywhere near good enough. That was the problem. Everyone will look at like Walker at the end as being the problem, where Timo goes past him.
That was hilarious.
But I thought both Rico and Walker were the huge problems for them. Rico enabled us to just bully him, and then where Walker's the big issue. How many times was he in a really good position and just didn't cross?
Yeah.
I just lay it back. I don't understand. We were on the ropes. That first 15 minutes, we were on the ropes, and it just didn't put the ball in.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they do. I genuinely don't know what Man City do. Do you put Rico right back and get rid of Kyle Walker? You definitely can't play both of them.
It's such an awkward. I mean, like next week is like they have to do something next week.
It was stupidity playing both of those two, though. Like, you can't play them both in the same team. And then I don't know what to do defence-wise for them. I really don't. Like Vardiol, you've taken a guy who was like the best left centre back in the world, and you've made him into a left back. And now I'm like, well, what they need more than anything else is good centre backs. But they're all dogs. Vardiol's a dog. Ake's a dog. Akanji's a dog. Stones is a dog. Rico definitely, if you put, or Walker, you put them there, they'd be just dogs all day long.
Yeah.
So it's chaos. Ruben Dias was the only one that was doing kind of any sweeping, but I don't even know what's happened to Ruben Dias.
No.
Just permanently injured for 2 seasons, and when he plays, it's rubbish. I don't know how they change it. I don't know what they would do. I know they need Grealish in the team. That 100% you need Grealish, so you've got some kind of transition, some kind of breakup, somebody that just keeps sustained pressure and is good on the ball, doesn't give it away a load amount, gets lots of fouls. But you're like, well, the only thing that was good actually going forward was Vardiol.
Hmm.
Vardiol's not. He's like the least issue they've got. You put Grealish
And you
around it, and
strangle
suddenly
him.
it's like
Yeah,
you strangle
you
him.
strangle him completely.
So that doesn't
I thought,
work.
yeah, because I thought Savio was all right like first 20 minutes, and then he just kind of disappeared from the game, just completely vanished.
Well, we did a weird thing, which I thought was really exciting in a way, was that we decided to just play with one centre back because Ben Davies just played left back.
Yeah, basically.
So Ben Davies so what we did, which I thought was really clever, we changed that of about 20 minutes, was Ben Davies went left back, Bissouma basically dropped in to be the cover alongside Dragusin, and then Destiny just played in the half space. Like he
Yeah.
literally played like a left. He was never at left back.
The only time we had to pull Davis back in was when like Dragusin just getting pulled out way out of
Yeah,
position. That was like the only time he had to come in and
but
cover.
he was so wide. Like so he was, and he would take the ball, really wide, and he would play the ball really wide. You were like, what are you doing there? Where was the centre back?
Yeah.
But it was really clever. What they did with Destiny Udogie was incredibly clever. Like he just kept carrying the ball, and then yeah, the whole thing was transitionally good. Madison's interview was like the best thing I've ever seen.
He's so
Just
good.
shows the IQ, like how he talked about all the time. If you can turn inside, I can get through him.
Yeah.
Like that first goal was really pre-planned.
Yeah.
He literally told it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think even if Rodri's there, it actually covers all of the pain. Like, so if they go and get themselves a defensive midfielder, obviously you're not going to get one as good as, but even you get a Zubimendi or something like that, I think there's still too many other problems.
Yeah, and I think there was a lot of people saying that obviously Rodri Kovacic as a pair obviously is definitely a big miss from like the heart of the midfield. Of course it is.
Yeah, but Kovacic. I need to go and have a look at this on Kovacic. Kovacic's minutes. When do you think last time Kovacic played more than 2,500 minutes? I bet you it was never.
Probably.
I genuinely bet it's never. Like
he never had it. He never needed it at Chelsea.
So look, this is the last few. So he's already played 879 minutes in the first 10 games of the season. So he's played every minute. But prior to that, 1,500 minutes, 1,700 minutes, 1,500 minutes, 1,800 minutes, 2,073. That's the most he's ever played. 1,735, 992, 1,778, 1,037. Like that's the last 10 years of his life.
Yeah, 23 starts is the most he's had in the Premier League.
And they started him 10 times at the first 11.
Yeah.
Like he was going to break.
He's going to break. Yeah, it's true.
Like he was absolutely going to break. And that's not only, he didn't just play those, he was playing the Champions League too.
Yeah, true.
Like what did they expect was going to happen to him?
So, right. Assets. Haaland. Straight sell. Too many good other strikers. I mean, he gets, what did he rock up? Like a 1 XG again, or 1.2 XG again? I felt like only like one or two of those chances felt reasonable. Yeah, I mean, Vicario was quality yesterday.
The save where he goes big, I expect Vicario to save those. The save where he got down low to the right, which is
with his foot,
the
first one.
Yeah, that was the only one where I was like, okay, but everything else, I didn't cover my eyes. That's the only thing I would say. Like
the one just before KDB smashes into Salah, I think is
the one he plays in, but it's still got to beat him near post. Do you know what I mean? Like it is still he just stood up and hit him.
He'd beaten his body. Like he'd beaten his body. It was his hand that stopped that.
I just think 15 million quid for a striker is so much money. It's so much money. Like I personally, obviously, I'm hindsight wankering this in the fact that obviously I took him out 3 weeks ago, and all I really wanted was Salah, Palmer, Saka. Yeah. I still just want those three.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
More than I want Haaland.
Yeah.
I fully know that I'm going to cop some beatings from Haaland. It's going to happen. But I don't see these problems going away for Man City. If I ask everybody next week, who's your team for next week? Who is your team for next week? If you were picking the 11 right now for Man City for next week, who would it be?
You asking me that question or somebody else?
I ask you. So
Okay,
Vardy
so
left back?
Vardiol,
Okay.
Ake, Stones, and then Lewis, probably, as
Lewis?
a 4.
Or Akanji and Stones, maybe?
Either or 2 or 3. 2 out of 3. Does it really matter? I don't think it really
Yeah,
matters.
No.
I don't think there's anything. I mean, maybe I wouldn't play Stones just because Akanji and Ake are probably more robust than Stones. Stones a nice passer of the ball. Maybe they won't not going to get so much. Or maybe they do need to break the press actually. So maybe Stones is probably the better one there to be the better passer. And then, oh God, who do you play? Who do you play in midfield? I guess you probably. I mean, if you play Grealish, Haaland, and Savinho as a 3, and then
So what we KDB, Foden, and Bernardo?
Maybe, but that feels a bit attacking. It doesn't feel like there's any protection there whatsoever.
So you play Gundo, who
just drifts and
is going to
doesn't
get
do
run.
anything. He's just going to get run through by. I mean, Gravenberch will just.
So then, if you play, so you then play what? Foden and Savio maybe, and then KDB, Gundo, and Bernardo. But again, 3 old men. Well, I know Bernardo's not old, but he's just not strong.
No.
And if you play Foden or Savio on that right wing,
I mean,
yeah,
he might be better off playing instead of playing Rico Lewis in midfield, he might be better off just chucking John Stones up in there and just having him as a sort of a protective
But can you trust his body to all these players?
You've only got to give him 90, haven't you? Though you've only got to give him you just need 90 out of you to make this work until we can get Kovacic back and whatever.
They've got to play Tuesday against Feyenoord. Like they've got to then play again week after. Like it's relentless.
Have they got issues in the Champions League though? Did they lose their last game in the Champions League?
They did. They lost to Sporting, mate.
Yeah,
they've got to get some wins in it.
Yeah, this is true.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not fun. Like their legs are all broken.
Yeah. Yikes. Spurs. Let's leave City then for now. I mean, like, I don't think there's a world where you actually need any of their players at the moment, City. And maybe it's hindsight 5 losses in a row, but
yeah, it's Haaland or no one. Yeah. And you can kind of keep hold of Rico if you want and leave him around and then hope that, but because I hope time it comes around.
Defenders are better.
I hope 3 defenders are better, and that because all you got to look at is say Walker is definitely not the answer at right back, and by the time they get to that Everton, Leicester, West Ham, Brentford, you'd think, okay, he should be in by 18. So I would just potentially just leave Rico around and hope that he just gets given that spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not stretching to play him in any of the games coming up, really, though. If I can. So
our boys.
Yeah. So, I mean, fixtures are okay now. Next 4 are okay. I mean, I'd even include Chelsea in that just because it's at home. The problem being is that Tottenham are Tottenham. So, I mean, like attacking wise, obviously, like 2.5 XG here away at City. We're the top scorers in the league.
Yep.
We create a huge amount of big chances. I mean, I wouldn't be against anybody keeping any of their Spurs assets, to be honest. I mean, Solanke in this game, though, like, what did he even put? He had a couple.
I don't remember a shot. But
he definitely had one. He definitely had one just wide of the post.
Yeah,
but
I thought he was brilliant. I thought he did unbelievable amounts of work, but
a great,
from an FPL perspective,
as you say, like it's a 7 out of 10, but not from an FPL perspective, right?
He got the assist, but I scored Haaland, mate.
It's very true.
But yeah,
exactly
the same. Exactly the same position as we've been with him recently. The point is, you don't know what's going to happen now. Maddison was so good that do we start using, like Johnson for quite a lot of time last season was a fantastic option off the bench for the last 30 minutes, a real good impact. Why not keep doing it?
I just wonder whether Ange's going to think that we need to have that carrier like we had of Kulu.
but we've also got to play midweeks. So does it go in, out, in, out?
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
what do we
No,
do?
we'll midweek with like Bergval and that lot, won't we? I'm sure.
Johnson started last time. Like he could easily, and you'd expect Johnson to start Thursday night after all
Yeah.
these the
Yes.
work for everyone now. Son. So I took Son out because not because the early sub, but what was going on in our little group chat 10 minutes before that, where us normal Spurs friends, I mean, they play FPL, but everyone wanted Son off the pitch. He was stuffed.
Yeah.
Like it got more and more sluggish as the game go on. He had that moment in the first half where he just should have shot and he didn't. It genuinely, it feels like age is catching up with him a little bit. And I feel like he's being managed. And I think we really need him.
I think you can do that at 3-0 though. Like, so how often do you have, how often do we have games that finish 3-0 where he's not involved? I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
Or he's not,
Because he's
well, he
magnificent.
got an assist.
Yeah, and obviously the other chance that Edison saves is, but he did have 0.03 xG in this game.
Yeah, but that's a standard.
Which is
Like
a
if you think of the shot of it that Edison saves,
Yeah,
like that's a hallmark Son Heung-min top corner. You know, done it for the last 10 years of his life type finish. So we expect those
but
kind of shots.
still needs to be 3 yards higher and 5 mile an hour faster. Do you know what I mean? It was a bit
Bit floaty.
cameraman. Yeah, it was a bit floaty. But his all-round game, we keep talking about it, his creative game is so good. His baseline is so good that Son will continually to be there. But can you compare Son versus Palmer or Saka? Not for me.
No, fair.
And that team, those other teams get pens and we don't.
Yeah.
So I think it's an inevitable one.
Where would you? I mean, no, actually, no. Don't worry. That's a stupid question because I'm just thinking about where would I go with.
Is Kulusevski? Is he a pick? He's never missing a game, and he's never missing a minute.
No, he's not.
And he cannot play any better.
What is he like? 6'4"?
Yeah, he's like 6'4", if that.
If that. I mean, yeah, he might be. He might be the cheaper. He might be the cheap option.
Yeah, but you've still got Brennan come on, and he obviously gets the points, scores the goal.
This is true. But yeah, I mean, like Maddo was saying about that, like it is a skill for him to do that, and we get that. Which is cool in the last 10, 15 minutes of a game, or if he does it early. But you know, in terms of actually progressing the ball up the pitch, as you said, it's a complete waste.
Yeah, and if Maddison gets a run, he's always a good asset because his baseline, like the amount of times he gets fouled, like even that, he gets 10 points a game just in getting fouled.
Just constantly, he's constantly on the floor.
Yeah, love it. Like if Malaga gets a run, yeah, he'll definitely be in a consideration. But we need to see him get a run. We need to see him get the minutes. I genuinely still think Porro is comfortably the best asset for me. I would say, for me, Arsenal defence and then Porro. It's easy. Vardiol should be. You know, I still thought Vardiol was in a really, really good position, so he'd be amongst it. But once you're spending 6 million, I just want the Arsenal guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at 5.5, yeah.
Yeah. Kulu's 6.3. So
6.3.
Yeah. Just on that.
It's a consideration. Yeah. If you can compare 5.3 versus like a 5.4 on Rodgers, whatever it is, then I'd be like, Kulu, thanks.
Yeah. Right. Just for everyone, if you haven't hit the like button already, there's over 420 of you in here. If you haven't hit the like button already and you do like the stuff that we do, make sure you please do hit that like button before you leave today. That'd be much appreciated. And hit subscribe. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year.
Magnificent.
Maybe we might get there. We might get there.
It's a big target. We need a lot of help in the next target.
I think we've got like 900 subs in the last year. We're asking for 1,000 in 5 weeks.
Must have more than that. We'll be fine.
It's all good.
Easy.
114 likes though.
Christmas.
Only 25% of you. Terrible. Do more. Right. So we've got like 2 games to go. That's it, I think.
Quite a lot of people did cap Haaland though, mate. So they're not going to like this.
Oh well.
Move on.
Right. So yeah, Fulham 1, Wolves 4. I looked at this and the first thing I saw was like 1.26 XG, and I thought, well, still not a great attack, but Cunha just doesn't care. This is what you said, right? This is the words that you used in the message to me yesterday. Cunha doesn't care about XG, mate. Just doesn't care.
He doesn't give a toss. Doesn't care. Like, if João Pedro don't care, this man does not care. 7 goals now from 3.1 XG.
But I feel like he could just carry on.
And the similar feelings to João Pedro, in it, where it's like you are watching a guy. Well, what sort of money would João Pedro go for if 23 years old?
60,
80, 90?
70.
I mean, they bought him for nearly 40.
Yeah, 60, 70.
They'd want him. I think this guy's easy in 80. They're both 80 million quid players. You'd have to pay that kind of money. And albeit Wolves' financial state, probably, if you put 60 in, they probably haven't got much they can do about it.
Yeah.
I'd genuinely be amazed if someone doesn't come with a crap load of money. I hate saying this because it's like selling teams players, but he's just incredible player. So you're telling me you've got a guy that overperforms his XG because he's just an absurd finisher. He takes corners, he takes free kicks, he takes penalties, scores worldies, takes the ball down like king of the world and finishes it, is the best creator in the team. Someone nicely said on Twitter is that they brought him in when I compared him to Palmer, and
I mean, his last 5 weeks, he's clear.
It's clear.
It's literally clear. And because Chelsea have Jackson, because Chelsea have João Felix, because Chelsea have Madueke, like
he's last season Palmer, isn't he? Like he's last season Palmer,
he
where
was like last season Palmer, but he just doesn't
put
quite
the team
get
on
the
your
extra
back.
points. I mean, not that they're keeping any cleans anyway, so it doesn't really matter about the clean sheet point, but he's not getting that extra point for the goal. Is he like? I mean, I think last season Palmer,
but
was a bit of a
he's
stretch,
shooting too. Like that, they've had the worst run. It's now obviously been a couple of years, but he's had 35 shots this season. Like he bangs. Only 13 shots on target, mind, but he's had 35 shots. Like I know he's had low XG 3.1, but he's chancing his arm with these mad shots every game.
Yeah, but he still gets 0.7. He gets 0.7 yesterday, which is quite a good chunk, right? I know he gets 2 goals out of it, but 0.7. He has 4 shots, 2 on target, 3 in the box, including a big chance, which he obviously scores. Just
if you've got a player that's incredibly creative and is averaging over 3 shots a game and is on all the things you need him to be, they're a no-brainer.
Yeah, 6.9 million. He's still. I just wonder at 7 whether people start going, maybe.
I think people already did. I think people already did last season. They were like, last week they were like, I'm not sure.
Bournemouth, Everton, West Ham next 3. And then
he was doing brilliantly when the fixtures were bad.
This is it, yeah. And then Ipswich and Leicester after those 2, by the way, just to
just get him.
Yeah. Yeah, just get him.
And what he's been fantastic at is breaking the lines, getting in behind. We saw that takedown last week that he's got. Bournemouth next week. Is Bournemouth next week?
Yes. Yeah.
Bournemouth without Semenyo. And he's just so good at it. Ghosting. He's
how do you ghost in with this kit? Like, I don't understand it.
I love this kit.
Like, we complained about the Ipswich one being a bit pink. This is actually quite nice.
Yeah,
not really sure about the orange sponsor and logo, but
I love it. I love it. Great kit.
8 Nori.
It's what you expect.
Cool.
Like,
I didn't expect anything else really from him.
At the end of the game, right at the end of the game, they scored their 4th goal. It was 4-2. And it was Guedes, Strand Larsen, Cunha, Nate Nori.
Yeah.
Flying forward. Annoyingly, for me, who owned the other 2, Strand Larson, Pastor Guedes.
Yeah.
So it was the two that I want, but he still has a chance of just doing silly things. And most defenders are bad. You play him, you hope for the best, but you don't expect it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the season where everything you get from defenders
Is a bonus.
if you're going to spend the money, it has to be worth it. It has to be Porro. It has to be Gabriel. It has to be Saliba. Timber, I'd probably give him in that bracket. I think if you can have two of those in your team and you're not compromising a lot, and João Pedro does help with that. João Pedro and Cunha both help with that, don't they?
Yeah, hugely.
If not, yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's final one. I think this is the final one.
God, is it?
Missed anything? I don't think we've missed anything. Did we do Villa?
No, we didn't do Villa.
Oh shoot. Okay, so let's go back to Villa.
Everton Brentford. Do you want to just do it?
Just do Everton Brentford. I mean, there's not much to go on here except like DCL. I think DCL is now literally cursed.
Yeah, he's cursed.
He's literally cursed because I don't think he does anything wrong with either of the chances that he get. Obviously, like the Flecken pulls off like the best save I've seen all season by far. By far the best save I've seen all season. Like it was ridiculous. But Flecken owners obviously feeling justified. People with Flecken and Mikolenko loving
Flecken owed these people. Flecken owed he owed Flecken owed.
He's obviously just unlucky not to get obviously because I was hoping to roll out the if they clean, it's a nailed on slam dunk. That was you last week.
Yeah.
I was
good for the program.
I was waiting for that to come in, and then I was like looking at it. Ashley Young, what?
That is the thing on Mikolenko. As I said on the thing last week, he's a 2 or 6. He's not going to get there in the bonus against these guys. Young's better than him, Tarko's better than him, and Pickford's always better than him. And then obviously that's before it's even the opposing defenders also cleaning. He's not. He is a 2 or 6. But Wissa, huge chance.
Huge chance. Good save. Huge chance.
Huge chance. So that's good still for it.
It's good still for next week.
Bumo, it's difficult, isn't it? It's really difficult to judge a performance when it's that a man sent off. Do you think it was a red card?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I watched match of the day. And I watched him go.
Looks at it.
Yeah, I watched him go. Oh, I don't think that should be a red card. Thomas Frank. I mean, okay, whatever. But seriously, if you're sliding in, and I get it, right? You're sliding in with your foot high to try and get to the ball. I get that. I think everybody gets that. But if you take the keeper's knee, you're getting sent off. If you take the keeper's knee with your studs, you're getting sent off. You just have to accept that is the outcome of that collision.
Yeah, but the definition, I think, in the FA is something like if you're endangering the opponent, potential threat of injury and all that stuff, then you get sent off.
Real simple. It's not a difficult one. It shouldn't really
and
be.
It was horrid. The contact was horrid. I'm amazed that Pickford got out of it. Like it is.
I don't think it's much different. I mean, I don't think it's that much different from when Pickford takes out Van Dijk, right? A few years back. Like it's the same thing. It's not deliberate.
It's unfortunate.
The player's trying to do his job.
It is what it is.
But it is what it is. And Pickford should have been sent off that day, and Norgard was correctly sent off yesterday.
Correct. We didn't cover it earlier, but Bruno 18's asked about the Ndidi one. Is that yes or no?
Red card for me.
It's naughty.
I think the difficulty on that one is the fact that the Achilles is so much more fragile than the front of your foot. Like at the back is so much more fragile than the front. Because if you catch the guy on the calf, actually it's nowhere near as bad as if you catch someone on the Achilles.
I didn't disagree though with what was almost the rationale. So rationale was basically that it was a booking and they looked at it and there wasn't enough force in it that would suggest it should be upgraded. And I looked at it and I was like, I kind of do get it in that there wasn't like that nasty impact of it.
But if they're taking this to like the minute, like microscopic detail of analyzing it in slow-mos and stills and stuff, let's be real. As I say, like the Achilles is one of the worst places. Like I would much rather take studs to the thigh. Like every day I would take studs to the thigh over studs to the Achilles.
And if it goes,
you're done. That's it. You're done for like you're done bad. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's those two.
Would have had no problem. Erky has just said in chat that Ashley Young has got 45 points in the last 8 game weeks.
He was terrible in the first like few weeks, wasn't he? He was like, he made huge errors. Didn't he get sent off as well? I think that was it.
45 points from Ashley Young in 8 game weeks. What on earth? Oh, God.
Well, he obviously gets 9 yesterday because he gets 3. I mean, he has 3 key passes yesterday, which contributes to everything.
I think I've got to play Mikalenko next week away at Man United. Hey, would you play?
Big chance.
Would you play? Mikalenko almost scored though.
I did see that. Yeah, I did see the one over the bar. Yeah.
Yeah.
On his right foot.
It was on his right foot, unfortunately.
Still a championship defender, mate.
God, mate, if he'd scored, that would have been.
You'd
have hated me. You wouldn't have come on tonight if he'd scored.
Cancel, mate. My throat hurts too much. I can't do
it. Right, let's go speak about your keeper. Let's go, Villa.
Oh, I don't have to. The worst thing is I've been talking like the last 2 weeks. Have I not suggested Luca Dean as an option? I know he gets obviously benched this week, but I'm there trying to get into the Villa defence, and I've already got the keeper that doesn't keep any clean sheets, and I hate him. I actually hate him. Best keeper in the world, 1 clean sheet.
That line for the Ismail Assar goal.
I mean, genuinely, I mean, if you can play like, because that pass was a 10, 15 yard pass. It wasn't anything more than that. And he was just in. It was literally the ball was played from one edge of the centre circle to the other edge of the centre circle, which is 20 yards, I know. But a 20-yard pass, and that was it. Like you'd opened up Villa. It was Matson's just trying to get back, but he can't do anything.
That alone for me, that goal there, just brought back do you remember Chelsea v Brighton earlier in the season and Palmer and Jackson just smashed it up?
Yeah.
I was like, as soon as that happened, I was like, bus team, captain, Palmer, thanks very much. As soon as I saw that goal, I was like, yeah, there we go. And I think that's probably why I end up staying, unless there's something remarkable happen. I suspect I'll stay just because just can't trust Villa's line. Just can't trust them. Obviously, they end up with 3 XG, which sounds fantastic because obviously
penalty misses.
Watkins is virtually 1 XG for his goal, which, look, all season he's done incredibly well of getting those very, very big chances. When they've been big, they've been very, very big.
Yeah.
Still good, Watkins, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still good. He's still good, but I just don't think there's not huge. I don't think there's like huge haul potential there at all.
And it's just hard to trust it when you've got like £5.5 million João Pedro.
Like, I mean, if you're going to get the same thing,
if you're
going to get the same thing from João Pedro, which is 1 goal, and João Pedro's got pens over Watkins, then the value isn't there. The interesting discussion that came up last week, like what does Morgan Rogers do? Well, he might start taking penalties now. Tielemans hasn't scored a penalty since 2020, like the end of 2022.
Unbelievable. Well, he doesn't play that much. He plays enough.
Still 2 years, mate.
Still 2 years.
Still 2 years to be a Champions League side penalty taker. I mean, that's...
Yeah. Do you remember that Chelsea season where we all thought that Ross Barkley was going to be on pens and we were all looking at him with the Game Week 1 team? Maybe he gets in and gets them.
Oh, God. Well, this is the thing, though. I mean, obviously, Rodgers takes them for England when not anymore. I mean, he took them for the 21s.
Yeah.
Like, Rodgers is going to be in our team until the next penalty, I think.
Yeah.
Until the next penalty, Rodgers is going to stay there, and I want to get rid of him as well. Not really. I
don't really like it, but I do think when I look at his fixtures, they're still really good, and I think after this week we will start to question Bumo a lot more.
Yeah,
I think we will. Like, we love him, but there will be a little bit where we start to say, well, what does Bumo do? Like, because if it's just pens,
then it's not fantastic. I mean, look, again, so I think one thing with Bumo is the home away thing for Brentford. I think just generally Brentford are so much better at home. So I think next week we'll just see.
But after this week, the next 4 homes are Newcastle, Forest, Arsenal, City.
Yeah.
So if he's bad away and the home games get harder,
then you can move on. It's tough trying to find someone that you'd want though. I mean, unless you want to go to like Gordon, for example. Like Gordon could be an really interesting one. The problem is the exit there is Liverpool at home, which isn't a great one to have. But
how is Palace's run? It's still bad, isn't it?
Palace,
Newcastle, come back,
Ipswich,
you can't.
City. Yeah, they got tough. City and
hard
Arsenal,
games at home,
15,
easier
16.
games away, but are they better than what they've got? It's difficult.
It's really
and obviously Bowen would look nice, but it's just Bowen obviously in full team was something. I mean, you talked about a little while back that looked like everyone would do it, but that would need a manager bounce, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the audition didn't go well.
The audition's not gone too well, mate.
That was it. The audition. Who were we speaking about that with? Dean, wasn't it? Like that was the audition week. Those audition weeks, and they did not go well. So, but maybe you just have to trust that Leicester away, Wolves at home, Bournemouth away, Brighton at home, Southampton away are good enough fixtures that you can just punt on it. We'll see.
There's no one obvious, and there's so little obvious that makes me think I'll just stick with Rodgers as well for a long, long time.
I mean, Semenyo appears to be. Just go back to Semenyo.
Could just be Semenyo once he's got that. Yeah, once he's got that out of the way.
Yeah, get the Spurs game out of the way, and then it's Ipswich. I mean, that's home as well, so that's fine.
Ipswich away home isn't a bad defensive game. Maddo, if he gets a couple more games, you might start them. Maybe
we've gone well off piste of there. Are we still talking about Rodgers?
We're just saying we're just going to leave him, but you can put him on the bench any week you like, really.
Yeah. These are all the games that we're talking about, basically. So this is just the ticker from our good friend Legamane.
Because it's the interesting one part of me when I brought Wood in a few weeks ago was that, well, Wood and Rodgers dovetail really well. So I get Ipswich at home this week. Then next week I get Brentford and Southampton at home.
Yeah.
Then I'll probably Wood, which I probably would if I had to pick the two. Then I go back. Then I go Wood again. Then I'll probably it's Wood against us. And then you're like, well, they dovetail quite well. But then you're like, do I just like João Pedro better than both Rodgers and Wood for Southampton, Fulham, Leicester, Palace, West Ham, Brentford?
Yeah, probably.
And the answer is probably yes.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper.
It's cheaper.
Work it out next week, I suppose.
Mate, I was going to say 10:20. I've got a training course that starts at 8 in the morning. So we'll call it there, I think.
We'll call it there.
So Newcastle, West Ham tomorrow. You've got Isak, I've got Hall, so I'll take a 0-0. so I can't let you two get too far away from me.
I will. I'll take a 2-0.
As long as Hall assists to Isak.
Well, both Hall assists. I'll tell you what. We'll have an Isak brace, but you get Hall's 2 assists and a clean, and you get the top bones. So you'd have 15, and I'll have 13.
Deal. I win in that scenario.
Yeah.
I get a couple of extra points on you. I'm still behind you, but I get loads of points on the field. That's how it works.
It's been 3 good weeks, mate. As I said,
it's all it takes. You still get your triple captainship as well. It's all good.
Still has to work it out.
It's all good. Let's call it there. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Really appreciate you being here. There is a quick question, maybe. No, we'll cover questions on Thursday. We'll do some more questions on Thursday, I think.
Thursday questions.
But yeah, as I said, if you could drop a like on the video on the way out, that'd be certainly much appreciated. Heading to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, maybe not, but we need your help to do it. Otherwise, we definitely won't. Once again, well done to everyone who won awards over at the FCAs on Thursday. That was a good old evening. If you haven't heard us talk about that, we talked about it at the start of the team selection pod. So don't worry about our team selections for game week 12. But if you want to hear a little bit about how the FCAs went, then you can jump over to there. Also put some photos out on YouTube actually today, so you can have a look at those. We'll see you probably Thursday. We're gonna have to figure it out because it's like Liverpool, Real Madrid on Wednesday, so like no one's gonna watch. Tottenham, Roma on Thursday, so we won't watch. So we won't be here. I think we're going to try and do something between sort of like 5 and 6 on Thursday if we can. Thursday. So just FYI, that's obviously UK time. So thank you again. And if you've got players left for the game week, good luck for those. And we will speak to you next time. Cheers, mate.
See you later.